on to the Environment and Regeneration Committee, and I'll just hand over to Karen here.
Thank you, Chair. To all members of Environment and Regeneration Committee, you're hereby summoned to attend the monthly meeting of the committee to be held in the Council Chambers, Strabane, Wednesday the 12th of June at 4 p.m. And I'll take the attendance. Alderman Derek Hussey, Alderman Keith Kerrigan, Alderman Julie Middleton, his apologies, Councillor John Boyle,
Here.
Councillor
Caitlin Deany,
And Shaw.
Councillor Alex Duffy,
And Shaw.
Councillor Sean Fleming,
And Shaw.
Councillor Brian Hart,
And Shaw.
Councillor Emma McGinley,
And Shaw.
Councillor Ruth McHugh, Councillor Patrick Murphy, Councillor Declan Norris,
Here.
Councillor Martin Riley, and Councillor Brian Tierney.
Here.
Thank you, Chair.
Right, members, we will read the broadcasting statement. At the start of each meeting, I would like to remind everyone present that this meeting will be broadcast live to the internet and will be capable of repeated viewing. Broadcast may be terminated or suspended in accordance with the protocol. Seated in the public seating area, it is possible that recording cameras will capture your image, and this will result in the possibility that your image will become part of the broadcast. By entering the council chamber and using the press or public seating area, you're consenting to being filmed and consenting to the use and storage of these images for webcasting or training purposes, and for the purpose of keeping historical records and making those records available to the public. A copy of the council privacy notice may be found on the council website, www.derrystaban.com. And is there any declarations of interest, Councillor McGinley?
Just on item 9, I'm a member of the Northwest Regional Waste Management Group, so just to have that on record, thank you.
Chair, same item, chairperson of the Waste Management.
I'm a member of Waste Management, Northwest Waste Management.
Chair,
Yeah.
same item. Not that I've only recently been put on it.
Right, members, in regards to chairperson's business, we're happy enough for that. We have one item, members, that we're looking to change there, and that is item 14, which is in regard to the ballpark MUGA update, and that was for information, but that will be brought in after item 9, and it will be open for a decision, so we'll do that. But other than that, are you happy enough? That's grand. We will move on to the matters arising from the open minutes held on Wednesday, the 15th of May. Have we anything? No matters arising then, members. We'll move on then to item number 7, which is the street name and property number and its request for development name, and that will be Connor.
Here, I'll propose that and save Connor the time.
I'm happy to second, Chair.
Proposed and seconded, we're happy enough. Thank you, members. Moving on to item 8, which is the use of the framework agreements for fleet renewals, and that again is Connor.
Thanks, Chair. The purpose of this report is to seek members' approval with regard to the use of framework agreements for the purchase of fleet assets. Members will be aware that Council currently utilises compliant framework agreements via the Eastern Shires Purchasing Organisation, ESPO, or Crown Commercial Services, CCS, for a number of services and or the purchase of goods, for example, bin purchase, caddy liners, etc. The ESPO is a joint committee of local authorities and operates within the Local Government Goods and Services Act 1970. And it acts as a purchasing agent for its member authorities and other customers and provides a professional, cost-effective procurement and supply service. Framework agreements can be used by all councils in England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland and enable councils to order directly from the supplier, thus requiring minimal management from councils. Purchases through the framework means that councils do not have to undertake their own tender process, saving time, money and benefiting significantly from economies of scale. Under or using the ESPO framework ensures that the buying process is fully compliant with UK procurement legislation. All suppliers listed on frameworks have been assessed for their financial stability, track record, experience and professional ability. Officers have reviewed some of the frameworks agreement available through ESPO or CCS portals and have identified agreements which provide for the purchase of vehicles currently used by council. For example, ESPO 21520 specialist vehicles and CCS RM 6244 standard and specialist vehicles. These are the type of vehicles typically used by council in terms of refuse collection vehicles, sweepers and so on. All suppliers added to the framework have been done so following a robust and compliant tendering process, enabling the inclusion of suppliers both willing and able to provide customers with the aforementioned vehicle types. Indeed, many of the suppliers on the list are those that already supply vehicles to Council. Frameworks also provide a direct award call-off option. A direct award would produce time and cost savings by not utilising a further competition process. In recent years, officers have seen lead times for new vehicles increase significantly, attributed to productivity decreases due to COVID, global shipping container pressures, as well as shortage of microchip processors used in vehicle electronics. When coupled with the time taken to run a full procurement exercise, these delays impact yearly budgets and inevitably see expenditure roll over from one financial year to the next, which presents challenges in terms of keeping pace with the fleet renewals as and when required. Use of a framework could help alleviate this as the procurement and identification of suppliers has already been completed. I mean, the time taken from order placement to delivery and receipt of vehicles will be considerably shorter. In addition, the use of framework would allow Council to control and maintain homogeneity across the fleet in terms of vehicle make types. As we said already, a lot of the vehicles that Council purchase are on the supplied list, and that would ensure that we wouldn't be buying different types of vehicles requiring further training, stores and so on. So again, it assists with managing costs. Whilst the vehicles are purchased off the framework, delivery, warranty issues, parts, etc., are delivered to the respective companies, NI-based agents and distributors. So the use of the framework would see efficiencies in terms of officer time and resources used in procurement, which represents an indirect cost saving. There is scope for discounts to be available from suppliers when multiple vehicles are being purchased, which would impact positively on the fleet capital budgets. Members are asked to endorse the use of the framework agreements in respect of the purchase of fleet assets.
Any members wish to pass comment or anyone wish to propose the item? Proposed Councillor McHugh, seconded Councillor Boyle. Content, members. We will move on then to item 9, waste management plan, and that again is Connor.
Thanks, Chair. And the addendum was included with the pack sent out to members and to seek members' comments and recommendations with regard to an addendum produced in support of Council's waste management plan as required under the Waste and Contaminated Land Order. Members will be aware of previous items setting out the requirement for Council to produce and have adopted a waste plan setting out arrangements for dealing with all wastes that arise within the city and district. Whilst it is the responsibility of individual councils to produce and implement these plans, the practice over previous years has been that the North West Region Waste Management Group have undertaken this task on behalf of member councils. The plans are to be updated on a regular basis to reflect changes in waste regularization, waste arising, and the advances in collections and treatment methodologies. The plan should also reflect the main policy drivers as developed by DERA, NIEA, as set out in the NI Executive's Waste Strategy Framework. The Department are at present revising this document, and it was subsequently agreed in discussion with Department reps that an addendum to the existing plan would be suffice pending the publication of the revised strategy. Following a procurement exercise, RPS Consulting were appointed to produce the waste plan addendums on behalf of the 2 regional waste management groups and the 3 non-aligned councils. The addendums have now been completed with the Joint Committee of the North West Region Waste Management Group recently recommending that member councils should adopt the document as per the appendix attached, and members are asked to adopt the addendum as included in the pack.
Members have a proposer or comment? Councillor Duff.
Just quickly, just to thank Connor and his team for the last year in the waste management group, the joint waste management group. It was a very intense year for Connor and his team, not so much for us. So it's just to give thanks for that and have a Sinn Féin just to propose.
Have a seconder? Sorry, Councillor McGinley. Right, members, we're content. Move on to item 14 now, which is brought forward, ballpark mug update, and that's going to be Karen.
Thank you, Chair. Members, this is to seek members' approval to remove the polymeric surface at the Mugga in Bull Park. Members will recall in October, funding was set aside to undertake localised repairs and renewals in relation to a number of identified issues as part of the annual ROSPA inspections. And one of the items was the removal of the polymeric surface on the Mugga at Bull Park. Members had sought a separate detailed report in relation to this. and therefore it hadn't actually been progressed at that time. So the item didn't address the timescale and funding sources for the full regeneration of the polymetric surface. However, since then the surface has deteriorated, and indeed we've had to close the facility for health and safety purposes. Members, we have looked into the potential to remove the defective polymeric surface and to dispose that. And we would propose that once the polymetric surface is removed, we can make a more detailed assessment of the bituminous surface that's below. Officers have advised that they're hopeful that the bituminous surface is actually intact, and therefore in the interim we could reopen the facility to the public as a usable space. So members, it will cost £2,485 to remove the defective surface and transport to a waste facility, and then the disposal would be estimated in and around £4,200, and the lining out would be 2,500, which would be the total estimated cost of in and around 10,000, which we had earmarked within repairs and renewals. Members, as you can see from the report, officers will also consider a longer term plan for the refurbishment of the Mugga and potentially the adjacent playground in line with our play plan. However, members, in the meanwhile, members are asked to approve the removal of the polymeric surface. And happy to take any comments or queries that members have. Thank you.
Councillor McGinley.
Gormaya Chair, and thank you, Karen, for the report. My party colleague Aisling Hutton has been working closely with Colin Kennedy in relation to this, and has been contacted by some people and some groups that use the Mugga over the summer period, namely the likes of Fela, who use it as part of their summer programme and are really, really eager to see it reopened. And on that basis, we're content to propose the recommendation to try and get this reopened as quickly as we can. Thank you.
Councillor McGinley, have a seconder. Councillor Boyd.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I'm not going to delay the meeting too much. Obviously, it's an unfortunate situation. Karen, is it normal wear and tear then, really? It's not a vandalism situation or anything?
It's the end of life.
Well, at least that's something. But again, as we all can see, it's in pretty poor condition, and hopefully, users will be able to access it fairly soon, Karen. So again, just thank you for the report, and I will, of course, second Councillor McGinley's proposal.
Councillor Hart.
Just on that, under the Mugga pitch in the head of the town area of Strabane, I know it's under to get the surface renewed. Is there any timescales or update on that at all? Would you be aware?
Chair, I know that's gone to tender, so I can't give you a timescale, but we can find that out and bring it back to you.
Content enough then, members? That'll be item 14. Yeah. We'll move into open for information, and I'll just run through it here. And if you wish to speak on anything, just indicate. Item number 10 is the building control applications. Item 11 is the DFI no waiting restrictions. Item 12 is disabled parking bay applications. Item 13 is the top of the hill park master plan. Councillor Deeney and then Alderman Hussey. Councillor Deeney.
Gormaya Chair, it's just to say we're very happy to see this brought forward. There's a massive need and there are huge ambitions within my community to develop this master plan, and this is the first step as part of that. So thank you so much for that, Karen.
Alderman Hussey.
Thank you, Chair. And I suppose my comment or query is incidental to the actual report. I had contact today from a member of the Cyan Mills Heritage Grouping, and they were wondering where their plan is. And I'm just wondering, there has been regeneration studies done and all of that sort of stuff in Cyan, but they're not actually seeing anything on the ground yet. And they're beginning to wonder, when will that occur? Also, whilst he was speaking to me, he mentioned the condition of the pathways in Cyan Mills. And we had a scheme whereby the streets in Sion Mills, Newton Stewart and Castlederg would be power washed. And I'm just wondering, is that scheme still in existence? And if so, when will the streetscape be cleaned up in those 3 areas? And if it is happening, given the painting schemes, could we urge the contractor who undertakes that to be aware of the newly painted surfaces on the buildings throughout the main areas that are normally power washed, and to ensure there's no splatter? And indeed, in the past, I've had complaints of materials being washed under doors of premises, etc. And that's, I mean, I was power washing yesterday myself. I know exactly what can happen, but it's just that due care and diligence could be undertaken. That's if the scheme is ongoing on that. Thank you, Chair.
Through you, Chair. Members, I can ask Tony to bring an update report in terms of the heritage plan for Sion Mills. I know there's a number of various pieces of work underway, and certainly we can update that. I don't know, Conor, if you can comment on the washing of the streets for.
Yeah, Chair, it's still allowed for, and we have budget for it, and we will look to progress as soon as we can. I'll get the timetable from the contractor and feed that back to members. We're aware of the comments around materials being washed under doors, but it's one of those ones that you either clean up as far as you can, or you leave. It can't be cleaned on the side of the building, so it's just something. It's I suppose a choice that the building owners will have to consider.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Karen and Conor. Could I just stress, the streets are now at a stage where they need cleaned. If it was the Guildhall Square or the Diamond or anywhere like that, there'd be uproar. Mark Patterson would be all over it. But maybe because it's Sion Mills and Castlederg and Newton Stewart, I have concerns with that. Thank you, Mayor. Or thank you, Chair. Promoting you there. That'll not be happening, Derek.
Not this term, anyway.
Just in regards to flooding update on my DA Eglinton, I've been contacted by several concerned residents living around Mulpath. Just to summarise, I have sent Karen over and more detailed questions, but I'll just summarise them here, so I don't want to take up too much time. To summarise what the issues is, so members of the Eglinton community, the Eglinton Community Resilience Group, met with DFA officials and the consultant Jacobs about the Living with Water project aimed at reducing flood risk in the village. While the community welcomes the initiative, recent efforts to comply with the 2018 enforcement notice on Castle River floodplain have raised concerns. Despite ground levels being reduced at 250-metre earth bank, up to 1.5 metres high has been created, decreasing the flood storage capacity. Residents on Mulpath worry this will deflect direct floodwaters towards the residential area. And given the floods in 2017 and again 2020, and it's mentioned nearly every month at this meeting of how the residents in Eglinton and the likes of Drumahoe are living on a knife edge each time there's a bad downpour. So the questions what were put to me to be put to committee. Now, some of these questions are not solely just for environmental regeneration. Some of them may be about a crossover with planning. So the first question the residents have asked was, with the enforcement officer handling the earth bank issue having left, and larger flood historically occurring around this time, can we have a commitment that the issue will be prioritised within the plan on enforcement, not on environmental regeneration, of course, on the remit, but we can get a reply to that. And obviously, you're not going to have the answers here today, so they're happy enough to to respond at a later date. Question 2, can we engage with DFI to ensure that the earth bank is removed before telegraphical studies for the Living with Water project are conducted, and that flood risk maps are promptly updated? And then question 3, given the pending planning application for developments on floodplain prone areas, can the council consider a moratorium on development until the Castle River floodplain is restored and the Living with Water project is fully implemented? And finally, if council can write to DFI Rivers requesting an on-site meeting along with the replacement for the person in planning who was dealing with this. If the replacement is not in, because this is very timely, if that person is not in place soon, can his or her superior attend that meeting instead, so we can address some of these concerns with the residents? Thank you.
Yeah, through you, Chair. Members, I have received that email from Councillor Duffy, and we will look into all those issues and provide a response as soon as possible. And certainly happy to request a visit and facilitate a senior planning officer attending the visit. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Councillor Norris.
To give a bit of background on the enforcement order that was originally there, this was a banking that was created around 2017 before the flood. Now, that banking has been removed, but it was levelled out, and then the enforcement order was to lower that land down back to its original state. What has happened is the developer has come in and now has created a 250-metre banking right from the top of the land right down to the bottom, where there's houses like on a fold, and now they have a banking right behind their house. Councillor Duffy's right. Kieran left recently, so I was on the phone to them, and they are assigning an case officer to the case. But people are worried. This is a floodplain. They've now created it's about a 1.5 metre banking, and what they've done, they've actually buried it under the trees as well. So the trees are all buried, which will rot the trees and kill the trees. So it really needs, the developer needs to get it back on the order. Thank you.
Councillor Riley.
Thanks, Chair. Just on the same item, just in relation to Drummond, it is worthwhile noting the change in language and direction there. I know at the last committee, I think it was Councillor Middleton raised the issue about time frame. It's good to see a time frame has been inserted. Now, it's not without comment though that will be nearly 10 years since the flooding happened in 2017. That they're hoping that construction phase work will commence in 26, but nonetheless, it is important to note that they're now moving towards confirming that construction can happen at some stage in the future. So that's welcome, Chair. Thanks.
Alderman Hussey.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Councillor Duffy. I had been asked to reference this item by my colleagues in the city because they have received concerns on it, and I've seen the photographs of the site, etc. It is concerning, and I support fully that request on this on behalf of the Ulster Party. Thank you.
Thank you, members. That's item 15, the flooding update. Item 16, mobile update. And item 17 is the annual blessing of the grave service, City Cemetery. Councillor McGinley.
Mega Chair, just thanks for the report. I have been in contact with Connor in relation to some residents have been asking already how they apply and everything else. When can we expect the communications to go out with the relevant email address, etc., for those residents to apply so they can ensure they can get that need the blue badge access?
Thanks, Chair. It'll go out to members and to the usual social media channels tomorrow morning, first thing.
10th, members. Item 18 is the non-residential burial charges. Well, seeing as I started it, I might as well speak on it here briefly. As I apologise there because my own iPad was playing up in my pack, wasn't accessible today or yesterday, so that's a couple of days from I looked at it there. But I'm just querying there 2 wee items on it. What is the charge there for the burial of ashes there in that regard there? I hadn't got a chance to.
It's presently 65.
65. Right.
Which you had.
Sorry.
Sorry, Chair, it's currently 65, and where you had suggested the uplift in the other cost, the officers just put in a figure
Right.
to compare.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Entirely at members' discretion.
that's great. And just to follow up on that, the like of that there is averaging out there approximately an additional £5,000 per year of additional income. It's not massive sum, but I'm just a query as to how much work can that be? Can that 5,000 do in some of the cemeteries, or is it buttons effectively, or is it going to increase? I mean, the main reason was to try and ring fence funding that could then be used in the cemeteries.
Chair, it's minimal, but any increase in income will obviously offset the overall spend. Do you know?
Councillor McGinley.
Chair, I wasn't at the committee last month. I had apologies, and so it's the first time I've had a chance to sort of speak on this item, and I'll not lie when I say that I was surprised to see it, because I'm very conscious of the sensitivities around burials, particularly for people who do live in the district who maybe have family members that don't, and are bringing them here to have them buried with other family members and everything else. So in terms of this, I'm a wee bit cautious around it. I think it could be picked up in the wrong way, and I think it's something that we should be discussing as part of the RITS process as opposed to in committee. Thank you.
Through you, Chair, members, that's something that potentially can be discussed at the Finance Working Group, as various issues, and members can consider how to take it forward at that stage, if you're happy with that, Chair.
I'm content enough, members. I don't like putting the line forward on the chair. So,
Chair.
Sorry, Councillor Tierney.
Just based on Karen's response there, are we saying then that there's nothing going to happen with this until it's discussed at the Finance Working Group, and then taken forward that way? We're only noting the report now, and nothing is going to be implemented at this stage.
Yeah, through you, Chair, members, this is for my members' information, just in terms of being able to gather the relevant information following last month's committee, and certainly any decision or any consideration of the matter would take place during the rates estimates process and through the Finance Working Group, and then members can decide what way they want to take this forward in due course.
Content enough. We'll let it sit, members. Yeah. Thank you. Members, that is all the business then and open business. Can we get a proposal to go into confidential? Proposed, Councillor Duffy, second, Councillor McGinley. Sorry, missed. And we'll just wait for